Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Orphan Last, aka Skylar Madison, and welcome to the Patreon Drawing Request series. The request of the month of June 2019 is a hamster. I would have liked to get another drawing request from my other patron, that way I could just start working on it as well, but I still haven't received a drawing request from that particular patron. At least, not that I remember. Now, drawing a hamster is pretty dang similar to drawing a mouse, and about a year ago I drew a science fiction warrior mouse, which is actually an image I want to go back to eventually. I never really quite considered the warrior mouse image finished. I primarily stopped working on it because the file got to be too unmanageable on my old computer, and my old computer was just garbage. But there's really not much difference from a mouse to a hamster. They're both small, full of fluff, and ultimately have a brain the size of a grain of rice. The only real difference between the two is that a hamster tends to be way more fluffy and fat. Maybe their classification in terms of species may be different, but from where I'm standing, mice, hamsters, they're the same thing. Now, I really didn't want to anthropomorphize the hamster. Now, by that I mean I didn't want to make the hamster look like a human being and try to make it behave like a human being either. Because I've already done that with the warrior mouse image. I actually worked on an anthropomorphized version of the hamster for 2 days. I started to paint out a hamster on top of a building with a katana fighting an owl. But in the end, I just kept thinking, this is the exact same thing as the warrior mouse image. A year ago, I drew the mouse, then I researched a cool predator for a mouse, and then I drew the mouse doing battle with a snake. And there I was using the exact same thought process towards this image. So, in working on this hamster image, I actually lost 2 days of work. I scrapped the original idea that I had for this picture. I don't really want to draw the exact same thing as I did last year unless it's something to show everyone.
Hey, look how much I've improved since then.
Think about it. Me drawing a picture of an anthropomorphized version of a mouse fighting a snake. Then a year later, me drawing a picture of an anthropomorphized version of a hamster fighting an owl. It's the same picture, same story, different year. So when I decided to start from scratch, that's when this hamster project took on a whole new level of desperation. I googled images for photos that tell a story in order to find some sort of inspiration or something. I kept racking my brain over different ideas. But one thing I wasn't going to draw is the obvious image of a hamster in his cage or interacting with his weird wheel thing that hamsters love so much. So I asked myself, what do I really want to do with a hamster other than say,
"Ooh, look how cute he is!"
And it occurred to me that although I would never do this in all reality because it's kind of cruel to one of the most defenseless creatures on the planet, I've always wanted to tie a hamster to a really big balloon and watch him fly away. Now, there's a difference to picturing a cartoonish evil version of yourself doing something to actually doing it. So, for those of you thinking that this is animal cruelty and it's horrible and evil, yeah, it would be, only that it's not happening. So far, my audience has been really cool and polite and understanding even, but I oftentimes feel I need to address potential protests before someone might possibly freak out. Please keep in mind that as of right now, at least, there is no such thing as a thought crime yet, okay? Although political correctness comes dangerously close because police, for some reason, feel the need to enforce non-legislated political correctness nonsense. So let me stress that I have not, nor would I ever, tie a hamster to a big balloon and abandon it to the stratosphere. That's just cruel. And I try to avoid cruelty. But there is such a thing as dark humor, where your brain thinks up the worst possible thing for some reason, and you chuckle a bit, and you wonder why. But you don't stop thinking it's funny because for some reason it's funny. Please keep in mind that the thought of cruelty isn't actual cruelty, unless political correctness wants to venture even further into butchering the English language to better resemble newspeak, more so than it does already. This image is just dark humor, nothing more, and to all the people watching, please do not send your hamster into the stratosphere, no matter how funny you might think it is. I told my coworkers at work about my difficulty with this hamster image, how I lost 2 days of work and what I've settled with, and then one of them spoke up and said,
There's an Overwatch character that's a hamster. He's pretty cool.
This whole time, I could have used a video game as inspiration for something, but I was out of time, and I had to work on an image that sends a non-existing hamster into the stratosphere.
Yay! I've never owned a hamster for a reason.
How do you even bond with it? Feed it? Tell it to eat? Because telling it to sit, roll over, and play dead won't work. Like I said, its brain is about the size of a grain of rice. The closest thing that I've ever wanted to a hamster or anything is a couple of sugar gliders. The idea of a cute squirrel-looking thing with opposable thumbs flying around your house kind of sounds cool to me. And sugar gliders have an adorable psychology. They will die if they don't have a social life. If you don't give them enough love, they will die. That is just awesome. They need to feel loved. And you have to be dedicated to taking care of that pet. That's so cute. But a hamster, they reproduce like rabbits and lemmings and probably have the survival skill of lemmings. So, I don't know, I have this weird perception of hamsters, and so that's some of how this image came about. So yet again, I was thinking about making this video into a tutorial that you guys could just follow along with, but in this case, I was just so frustrated from losing 2 days of work that I just couldn't bring myself to commit to that much editing, especially with it getting so hot outside. For those of you that don't know, I do a type of construction work as my primary form of living, and when it gets so hot that you feel somewhat delirious driving home from work, sometimes even taking a nap soon after just to clear your thoughts for the rest of the day. Something's gotta give at that point. When it's this hot outside, I just can't be staying up as late at night editing things together during crunch time, because even when I get enough sleep, I'm still way too exhausted for that sort of thing. The heat just zaps everything out of me. Maybe I'll be able to acclimatize to the heat again, and I'll be at full swing. But it sure doesn't feel like it. I mean, it's so hot outside, I'm sure I could crack an egg and cook it sunny side up on my stomach. On a side note, you guys may have noticed that I started to try out streaming. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make that a regular thing. It seems as though there might be too much lag, regardless of where I stream to. So I don't know if that's going to be a regular thing for me. Of course, if I could afford better megabits per second, then maybe it might be a regular thing. And of course, if you'd like to see me stream more often with better internet, I have some rather affordable tiers on my Patreon. Support for my channel is appreciated, and a link is supplied in the video description below. Helping to support my channel could lead to me branching out a bit more. However, as of right now, if I try out streaming, I can't guarantee the quality, and I can't guarantee a specified time every week when I'll be streaming. But if streaming were to become a regular thing for me, I highly doubt I'd be streaming directly onto YouTube. Last time I tried that, YouTube, for some reason, split the stream into 6 different videos. That's just not even remotely acceptable. People who clicked on the bell for notifications whenever I post anything on YouTube got 6 separate notifications that I was streaming, and it upset people, and I'm sorry for that. So, as a side note and a side topic, in the past I haven't really shown much interest in making fan art, primarily because I can't sell it later on down the road. But I think that I've been looking at it backward. Intellectual properties like Batman, Superman, Babylon 5, Star Trek, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars have a huge fan base that are looking for anything new for their favorite intellectual properties. That can actually help me show up on search results, so that's what drawing fan art means to me with this new consideration. As a result, I'm thinking of having a large number of videos soon where I'll be drawing quite a bit of fan art for a while, but I'm only planning on drawing fan art for the things that I'm an actual fan of. So what does this mean for you guys, the audience? Well, you'll be able to download some fan art made by me full resolution for free, since I won't be able to sell any of it anyways. I'll be posting those fan art images on social media, and hopefully they'll be highly accessible and highly desired. Hopefully. Recently, I've been tinkering with fan art with my personal artwork in a sketchbook. I've posted some of the physical artwork I've been working on recently on Twitter and also inside of the community section of my channel. And it's kind of fun, so think of images kind of like that, but with full resolution and higher quality. So here's the final image for this month's Patreon drawing request. I'll continue working on this image and hopefully I'll have it done for you guys by Saturday. I'm not planning on making every single one of my Patreon drawing request videos 2 videos, but like I said, I lost 2 days of work and that's just how it needs to work out. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys would like to get more notifications from me, feel free to click on the bell, or go ahead and follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the video description below. If you'd like to support my channel, there's also a link in the video description below to my Patreon. And if you guys would like to see more of my content, feel free to click on anything that's appearing on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your time.